Ever wonder why your camera ISO settings can make or break your image quality? If you spent time tinkering with different ISO levels, you might have noticed that some settings produce crisp, detailed photos, while others introduce unwelcome amount of noise or grain. The secret behind this phenomenon actually revolves around something called native ISO. In this video, I want to explain exactly what native ISO is, why it matters so much for photographers and filmmakers, and how understanding this concept can help you take advantage of your camera's capabilities. To start, let's talk about what ISO itself actually is. ISO controls your camera's sensitivity to light, which means it can either boost or reduce how bright your image appears. When you raise your ISO in your camera, effectively amplifies the signal from the sensor, making it behave as though it's more sensitive. The downside is that amplification can add noise, which shows up as grainy texture or little specks of color in your image or videos. Lower ISOs, on the other hand, typically produce cleaner images but require more light. Now you might be wondering, well, if ISO is just about adding or reducing sensitivity, then why does one particular ISO matter so much? That's where the concept of native ISO comes in. So what is native ISO? It's essentially your camera sensor's default sensitivity to light, the value at which your sensor performs with maximum efficiency and minimal compromise. When you shoot exactly at the native ISO, your camera doesn't have to do any electronic trickery or digital processing to boost or artificially boost or reduce your sensitivity. As a result, you typically get the cleanest possible image with the least amount of noise, the widest dynamic range, and the most accurate colors. Picture this like the sweet spot on a tennis racket. If you hit the ball right in the middle of the strings, you get the optimal return. Striking it too high or too low on the racket still works, but it's just not as smooth or powerful. When you move away from your native ISO, you rely on your camera's internal processing to artificially amplify or reduce the signal. This process often introduces digital noise that decreases the dynamic range, meaning you lose detail in the highlights or the shadows. If you shoot in conditions where the final image needs to be as clean as possible, like a professional interview in a controlled environment, a production shoot in a studio, or even an outdoor scene where you're able to manage the lighting, sticking to the native ISO can be the difference between footage that looks crisp and footage that looks a bit muddy once you start editing. Finding your camera's native ISO is usually straightforward. A lot of manufacturers list it in the camera manual or in the production specifications you can find online. If you're in doubt, try searching for your exact camera model, followed by the phrase native ISO, and there's a good chance you'll find a definitive answer on a forum or a review website. Now, there's an important note for those who have cameras with dual ISO. Certain Panasonic or Blackmagic cameras or some other camera models as well offer two distinct ISO settings that both operate without the typical issues. It's almost like having two sweet spots, one for brighter conditions and one for darker situations. Using the lower of the two native ISOs will give you the cleanest possible image in well-lit environments. Switching to the higher native ISO will allow you to capture cleaner images in lower light without the same level of noise you'd get by pushing a standard single native ISO camera. This feature can be a game changer if you shoot in varied lighting scenarios or move quickly between indoor and outdoor locations. There are also a few misconceptions about ISO that are worth addressing. First, a lot of people say that higher ISO magically makes your sensor more sensitive to light. In reality, your sensor doesn't physically change. You're just boosting the electric signal. Second, it's not true that all ISO values are essentially the same, because the signal amplification process can lead to noise and reduced dynamic range. Some ISO settings just don't perform as well as others. And finally, there's a mistaken belief that ISO doesn't affect dynamic range. Actually, once you moved away from the native ISO, you'll often lose some detail in the highlights and the shadows because of the signal that's being processed. Sticking to your native ISO or one of your two native ISOs if your camera offers that feature is typically your best bet for preserving as much detail as possible. So to wrap it all up, native ISO is your camera's default unamplified sensitivity that provides the best balance of detail, color, and clean image. It's the baseline around which your camera's entire sensor design revolves. and it ensures the highest quality image with the most robust dynamic range. If you haven't tried shooting at your native ISO, give it a go next time you're in a well-lit situation or you have control over the lighting. Compare it to the footage shot at higher or lower ISO values and see for yourself how much the difference it can make. If this breakdown has helped you understand ISO a bit more, feel free to hit that like button or subscribe for more tips just like this. And as always, thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see the amazing shots you create now that you know your camera's sweet spot.